Alright, so in the previous tutorial, we were able to move the ship left and right. Okay, so it's now responding to keyboard inputs. And now um, we're going to create the firing mechanism. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'll begin with a class. Okay, so once again, I hope you still remember how this is done. You go to your Solution Explorer, you right click on the project, select Add, and then select Class. Right. This time around, I want you to rename your class as a bullet. Bullet. Right. So I now have my bullet.cs right here on my Solution Explorer, and this is what my bullet.cs looks like in code. All right. Of course, this is once again a class. I'm going to have to declare some properties or attributes for my bullet. Okay. Of course, my bullet will have an X location. My bullet will have um, a Y location. My bullet will have a size. By the way, my bullet in this case just going to be a simple circle drawn using graphics in pen. All right. So I'm going to create a size variable, and I'm going to initialize that to 10. All right. So that means I have a circle 10 pixels wide and 10 pixels high. Okay. The reason why I didn't initialize x and y is because x and y is always relative to where the ship is. Okay, so we're going to have to assign the values of x and y the moment we fire this bullet. Okay, and then of course I'm going to have to declare speed for this bullet. Speed. Okay, in this case 10, meaning 10 pixels per frame, and I'm going to declare a boolean variable active. Okay, so whenever active is true, um, I can fire the bullet. Okay, so when active is false, then I cannot fire the bullet. Okay, so it sort of like helps me to turn this bullet on or off. Okay, and then my bullet should not run forever. It should stop at some point. So I'm going to create a variable int for lifespan. Okay, lifespan limit. Okay, it's going to be a number, and the lifespan limit will be in terms of numbers of draw. Okay, so if I set lifespan limit to 30, meaning I can draw the bullet 30 times as it moves. Okay, beyond 30 times, it's automatically going to deactivate itself. Okay, and then to actually count the number of to actually count where I am in my lifespan, I have lifespan equals to 0. Okay, so the idea is every time I draw my bullet, lifespan is continuously added to the variable lifespan. Okay, so 1 is always added to variable lifespan. The moment lifespan reaches 30, then that will be a sign to stop drawing or to deactivate the bullet. Okay. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is to show you the codes for drawing the bullet. And since I need the graphics and pen object, I'm going to have to add a using statement using system.drawing. Okay, so this enables the use of graphics and pen. Alright, pen. We have that. Okay. So now try to draw public void draw bullet. Okay, and I'm going to need, similar to the ship, I'm going to need a graphics object G and a pen P to draw with. Right, and the idea is I can render the bullet for as long as lifespan over here has not exceeded the lifespan limit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to write an if statement. If lifespan is less than or equal to the lifespan limit, then I can still draw. I can still draw the bullet. Okay. Alright. else, then I can no longer draw the bullet. Cannot draw bullet anymore. Alright, so I'm going to draw this bullet with a simple graphics dot draw ellipse. Okay, it's going to be circular. Therefore, what I need to do is set the width to size. So the width will be 10 and the height will be 10. And therefore, I'll have a perfect circle. Okay, so I'm going to draw P using the pen P, and I'm going to draw at X location minus size divided by 2. Alright, now that's a weird thing to do. Why do I need to subtract the location by size divided by 2? Okay, so let me finish this and I'll explain that to you in a bit. Okay, size divided by 2. Okay, let me move this to the next line just to make it clear. Okay, 2 and okay, this is the location of my ellipse, x and y points, and then this is my width, which is size, and my height is also size, and therefore I have perfect circle. Okay, so going back to this weird thing, how come the x and y positions should be subtracted by size divided by 2? I'll explain that with an illustration here. Okay, so usually when you set the size and you draw ellipse, if you specify a point, let's say xy, the way that the ellipse will be drawn or the circle will be drawn is from this point onwards, you specify a width and the height, and then the circle is drawn right here. Okay, so that's not how we want to draw it, because we want this x and y to be the center of the bullet, similar to this one. Okay, so I need to subtract x and y by 1/2 the width and 1/2 the height, therefore centering the actual circle via the centroid xy. Alright, so that's the reason behind it. And every time I draw this bullet, I'm going to have to change the y coordinate. Right after I draw it, y is equals to y minus speed. Okay, and the reason why I want to do this is because the bullet is constantly moving. It should never stop, and the way that it's moving is I'm subtracting the value of y, because in the Windows coordinate system, as you increase the value of y, the object goes down the window. So subtracting from the value of y will actually move this bullet up. Okay, so this bullet fires from bottom to top. Okay, and then after I draw, I increase lifespan oops, sorry, lifespan plus plus, increase lifespan by 1. Okay, notice this condition. Since I'm always increasing lifespan by 1, eventually after I draw this bullet for some time, for lifespan limit times, I won't be able to draw it again. Okay, so the moment I reach that point where I cannot draw it again, all I need to do is to set the active to false, and therefore um, I won't be able to draw the bullet even if I do call draw bullet, because lifespan is no longer less than lifespan limit. Okay, so that brings us to the next problem. If that's the case, then we can only fire the bullet once. Okay, that is true at this point, so we actually need to create another method to reset the bullet so that lifespan is set back to 0, and then active is set to true, so I can fire the bullet again. Okay, so I'll write public void, and I'll create something called a method called reset bullet, and the only thing that it will do is it's going to set back lifespan to 0. Therefore, I can once again enter this drawing code, and I set active to true. All right. So this is quite a handful, but nonetheless, it's also easy to understand. Um, Okay, so the next tutorial will actually show you how to use draw bullet and the set bullet in this entire class, um, to be able to render or create the functionality to fire a bullet from the ship.